Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Conley, and I will be teaching your students in United States History 2 this year. Obviously, this is going to be a school year like no other. We're living through one of the worst pandemics we've seen in the last couple hundred years. That's going to mean school looks different for you and your students. Obviously, until at least October 16th, school will be held virtually through Zoom meetings, Google Hangouts, and online activities. This will look different. Please give us a couple of weeks here at King Philip to get used to teaching online, because we're all very familiar with the brick and mortar way, having your students in the building, but this is a new challenge. One I'm sure everyone in this building is excited for, but a challenge nonetheless. Let me talk a little bit about myself so you can better understand why I chose to teach United States history at King Philip. One of the big reasons is I am a King Philip alum. I graduated King Philip in 2010. I went to Franklin Pierce University after that, graduated with my bachelor's in 2014. I worked in the film and television industry for a few years before I kind of burnt out of that industry. It's a tough industry, and I just wasn't getting any fulfillment out of it. So as I looked for a new career, I came back to King Philip to be a substitute teacher. And once I started to substitute teach here, I knew this is what I wanted to do forever. So I went back to school. I went to Fitchburg State and got my master's in education. I became a teaching assistant here for a year, and then I became a history teacher here. And I've been teaching history at King Philip for the last 3 years, and I've loved every second of it. I'm very much looking forward to teaching your students history this year. Some of the things that will be different about this year is obviously the online aspect and the new rules and regulations that go along with the online component of learning. Some of them I can easily pull over from our traditional classroom version of learning. That is, please be respectful of your classmates, do not bully and harass your classmates, do not distract other classmates. And then there's some new rules that we'll have to go over, like make sure your computer is charged every night. Make sure that you're coming into the chat on mute. Make sure that in your area where you study, there's no distractions. So those will be a little bit different, but on the foundational level, I will have the same expectations as I would if your student was in the classroom. As of right now, my syllabus is ever evolving. Your students and you will get a copy of my syllabus by Friday. But as of right now, I'm not fully done with it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of why you're here. You're here to learn about what your student will be learning this year, and that's United States History 2. And what is United States History 2? Well, let me show you. In United States History 2, we are continuing what your students learned last year from United States History 1. We are going to cover from 1920 to 2020, 100 days and 100 years and 170 days. Now, these major topics that we're going to go over include the Jazz Age, the Great Depression, World War II, the Cold War, the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, the conservative boom of the 1980s and 90s, modernization, the Great Recession of 2008, and lastly, the Obama presidency. These topics are by no means all-inclusive. We will go over other things, but these are kind of the base topics that we jump off from. Obviously, as you're looking at that list, you're seeing a lot of things that have popped up in the news again today. We're going through a civil rights movement. America is at war. There is financial uncertainty. So history is a really great way for your students to learn about what's happening today by looking at what happened in years past. It's great to take the data that we learned from years past, extrapolate it, and put it on today's issues. If you're having trouble connecting today's civil rights movement, today's recession, excuse me, my lights just went off, today's recession, and all these other topics that there is basis for in the past, please reach out to me. I am a resource. I'm here to help, and I will try and help you bridge that gap. The best way to reach me is by email. And here's my email here, conleys@kingphilip.org. I also have a website with a parents page that I will update regularly to tell you what we are learning about and some helpful links to refamiliarize yourself with the information. That website is right below, sites.google.com/kingphilip.org/Conley If you need to get in touch with me, email is the best way. Please allow me 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. I prioritize student email over parent email, and I have a feeling with the new methods that we'll be using this year, I will be getting a lot of student emails on how do I do this, or did that get submitted on time? And I'm fine with that, but please just allow me a day or two before I get back to you. That is it for me. I hope that you enjoyed my presentation. If you could fill out the form that I've posted the link in the chat, and I've posted it under this YouTube video. If you could fill that out for me, I'd really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your virtual open house, and I look forward to this school year and teaching your students and hearing from you. Have a good night.